Female sex workers of Reddit, do you ever have female clients? Other than anatomical differences, how are they different from male clients? Female clients were my absolute favorites, but they were certainly rarer. A lot of the time they just wanted oral and a massage, and you could just talk, hang out, giggle. They almost always provided wine, and occasionally food. It was like getting down with a friend. I appreciated that they saw me as human, rather than the majority of my male clients who saw me like a blow-job machine. There are exceptions to both sides, of course. I had one nasty female client who essentially wanted to abuse me. I ended up telling her no because she clearly had some extreme unresolved issues, jealousy towards women, internalized misogyny, whatever you want to call it. I've also had very sweet, loving male clients who want to please me as much as they want me to please them. You get more people after practice than you'd think. But I worked in high class. Most of the time if a lady was involved it was because she and her man wanted to have a threesome, or it was another escort who was employed as well to be with a man. I didn't mind those at all, but let me tell you, I had loads of threesomes in my time, and when it was a couple I almost always wanted to scream at them to communicate better. 80% of the time it was the woman wanting to prove she wasn't boring, that she was a cool girl, and the guy was either pressuring her or totally oblivious. The latter wasn't really his fault, I guess, but go the extra mile to read your partners, people. You just come off like you totally don't care. I've been selling sex for 3 years now. I have had 5 female clients in total, all of the different experiences. One of them was a lesbian couple where the other woman was too sick to have sex anymore, but she loved her partner, so I visited a couple of times and she watched. The other was a woman in her 50s, she was quite a sweet person. We took long baths and she had a dog that was my friend. 2 of the female clients did it for a threesome with their husbands. Both were May experiences, but the other one was straight up sad. It was obvious that the wife was terribly threatened by me and she didn't enjoy it the slightest, but was painfully desperate to please her fat old ugly rude husband. I felt genuinely bad for her. The last one is one of my regulars. She is a very overweight lady in her late 40s. I really look forward to spending time with her because she pays me practically twice the amount she should. She is always very kind. The difference? I am not sexually interested in women and haven't enjoyed sex with any of them, but again I never enjoy sex with my male clients either, so there is no difference there. They all have been very unattractive, but again, not so different from most of my clients. If I think about it, the only major difference that pops into my head is that I always have felt much safer with female clients. Every single one of them has been very polite, with no physical or verbal abuse. They completely respect my boundaries and don't try to push them. There has never been a danger of violence or getting robbed or raped. I feel that they see me as a human. I have had quite a lot of men with whom I have been somehow expressed that they don't think they only bought services from me but my whole body as an object. I paid you, you must do what I say. What you mean no anal? You are a hooker, you can't say no, and so on. You get the idea. With men, I constantly have my guard on, and I am prepared to, for example, client trying to put it on the butt without my permission. So, in general, I would say I've had quite nice experiences with women. They are safer and cleaner gigs that have paid well, and that is the best I can get on this job. On the downside, I don't really enjoy eating pussy, and making a woman come takes a lot longer than with guys, so more work. All of them have been quite gross tbh, but again, nothing different from the usual. Women customers are pretty rare, even with male prostitutes apparently. I know a few dudes selling sex and male clients are much more common for them too. They wouldn't be able to make money only with women. If anyone has any questions, just ask. Sorry for the mistakes, English isn't my native and I am on my phone. I used to do webcam work and I mostly did daddy kink play. It's not my thing, but I can put it on very well and have a young face. Most of my work was with regular clients with set appointments for private shows. The more they paid, the more likely I was to make effort to keep up a relationship with them outside of cam sessions over text and Skype. I had enough bad experiences that I set up a policy that I refused any and all female clients. Worth noting that I'm a lesbian, and this had nothing to do with my lack of sexual attraction and exclusively to do with how female clients treated me. When I first started, I had a woman and her husband contact me looking for a full-time relationship. I'm exchanging for my attention. They had sent me an order confirmation for 5 items off my Amazon wish list, posted public to my webcam profile, quote of which totaled to over $3,000. This had happened to me before, and so I was excited and they definitely got my attention. I only had communication contact with the wife, but she told me that her husband told her what to ask for from me and such. This is a dom/sub fetish, and so that wasn't a surprise to me. The requests started fairly normal, sexy photos that were exclusive to them, private webcam shows. The woman was aggressive and had me call her mistress and would punish me if I got cheeky with her or didn't deliver on my requests on time. Eventually, after my packages didn't show up for over a week, I asked for a tracking number and it all went to shit. The woman accused me of not trusting them and not believing that mommy and daddy were keeping up their end of the bargain, so I contacted Amazon, who confirmed that the order had never been placed. At this point, I knew I was being scammed. The email to them and mistress flipped out at me threatening to have me arrested for extortion, reported me as a scammer to the website I was contracted with, tried to call the cops on me, but it's hard to arrest someone's P.O. box and they had no other living address for me, only the city I lived in, and my screen name. I blocked their contacts, refused to speak further with them, and they harassed me with new accounts for months. I never saw a face or got a name, and it was to the point where I could not talk to a female user on the site without it turning out to be them. I was terrified, and annoyed, so I put a blanket ban on PMs and private shows from any female accounts. I'm sure there are plenty of perfectly nice women or couples who want a little girl to spoil, but I put a priority on my sanity. I've seen female clients but only during threesomes where their husband/boyfriend is present. I find women are a lot more self-conscious, usually shy to start. They often will compare themselves to me, which honestly makes me a bit uncomfortable. It becomes obvious that this is something their husbands talk them into. But I've also had crazy hot threesomes where the woman is super into it and really takes charge. Usually, women are better at giving oral sex, since they have the parts themselves and know what they're doing. Even if it's their first time, it's almost always better. They are generally much more gentle lovers. They are softer physically than men are, they feel very different to touch. They're also better kissers, sorry guys. But I've never had a female client one-on-one, so I couldn't really give any insight on that. Essentially no. In 3 years of camming, I had some men whom were pretending to be women. They thought they were slick, but it's painfully obvious. I'd play along though, cause why not, it's their fantasy. Also had guys pretending they were there with their girlfriend. Okay. Sure. And rarely there were some legit couples, usually older. There are also times where a girl will be hanging in your cam chat room, but it's almost always a fellow cam girl gal pal situation. It's not actually sexual, but sometimes you'll pretend it is because money. I'm a unicorn, bisexual woman interested in group sex, so I've had more than my fair share of MFF threesomes with couples I already know or met online. In my experience, women are much more relaxed and into it than their male counterparts. I think men have this expectation that there are now two women that it is their responsibility to please, and then get some combination of stage fright and just overwhelmed. Guys, just a hint, women can get each other off. Hell, we can get ourselves off without any help from a man at all. You are not the center of a threesome. The girls are interested in you and each other. Novel concept, I know. Also, just a hint, the more people involved the more talking you should expect. Do we want to try this? Would you like to? What if we? Communication is key. Now, if you happen to talk two straight girls into bed with you, all bets are off and good fucking luck. I've only ever had 4 or 5 women clients in a 12-year career, but on the whole, far more enjoyable than men. I mean, I've had enjoyable male clients, but per capita, women win for me. I'm not attracted to women sexually, but as others have said before, I'm not attracted to most of my clients anyway. I've made 2 women squirt and both were in work situations. That is always fun and interesting. One woman, part of a gorgeous, polyamorous surfer married couple, opened my eyes to the fact that we don't own our loved ones, and that epiphany brought about one of the best relationships I've ever had. I've never had a solo woman client so far, all have been part of a couple, but I also didn't feel any jealousy from any woman, only beauty and fun. However, I have strict rules for myself in dealing with couples calls. I want them both to have a great experience, so I don't initially fuck the guy unless I'm told that is what the woman wants. In this career, you have to be good at reading people, so I think I have managed to not step on any toes, and I try to send everyone home happy. I've been extremely lucky. All my lady clients were kind, polite, safe feeling, and smoking hot. I can't say as much for my male clients at all. I am a professional dominatrix and have a number of female clients. One of the things that I found most interesting is the gender difference in visual stimulation. Blindfolds really help women focus on the experience instead of trying to expect what's going to happen next and get caught up in their heads. On the other hand, a lot of men have an easier time being focused when they are getting off visually. Of course, there are men who like blindfolds as part of sensory deprivation too, but I've had many men specifically request no blindfolds. Definitely a fascinating trend I've noticed comparing genders. Oh, also all of my female clients have offered to help clean up at the end. I have a strict cleaning procedure I follow, so I decline the offer, but I found it interesting. I'm a dancer and I've had only a couple of female clients. I usually don't approach women. One of them was extremely friendly, and the other one was extremely aggressive and tried to push my limits. Honestly, I don't really know what to do with female clients because male clients are so easy to turn on by grinding, and it's just not the same with females. I was a prostitute for 2-ish years and I had 3 female clients over that time. 2 of the 3 were in relationships with men and I was hired to fill out their threesomes. The other one was a woman who hired me on multiple occasions. The 2 that hired me for threesomes felt really awkward for me because I felt like I was part of some weird sex counseling session for them, but the other girl was really nice. I could tell she really wanted to be in a relationship but just didn't have the time. She was really sincere and seemed really happy to just have another person to be with. She was someone who worked really long hours at a hospital, from what I could tell, and I figured she just didn't even have a chance to go out and meet people. Also, she was the first time I ever had sex with another woman, and I'm now openly gay. I still don't really know what to think about that. I wasn't expecting this big of a response, but thank you for reading this and taking whatever you took from my weird-ass life and coming up with the name of the screenplay of the exaggerated rom-com version. I'll try to answer any questions asked. Some time ago I did. There were only a few clients overall, but Jessica was the one I remember most. She was a bored housewife and she couldn't bear to cheat on her husband with a man, so she reached out for my services. There were a few solid months and a real relationship grew, until one night her husband barged into the room, yelling and waving a gun. I haven't seen her since that night, the scariest night of my life and the saddest. That was back in 1998 when The Undertaker threw mankind off hell in a cell and plummeted 16 feet through an announcer's table. I worked as an escort for around 6 months and dealt with almost exclusively female clients. I'd say I had maybe 10 male clients throughout the 6 months. The male clients were usually more clueless on the female anatomy, but that makes sense. The only other difference is that women often wanted to feel wanted and compassion, while the guys kind of just wanted to fuck, generally. Thank you for watching Reddit Space. Please subscribe if you love these Reddit stories.